Hey everybody, I am going to do a quick run through here on Web of Science. Now, I have recorded several of these: Google Scholar, the ASABE Technical Library, and Web of Science. So make sure that you watch those. A lot of the same things that I talk about with Google Scholar will apply here as well, including knowing some really basic search strategies that will really help to optimize your time. So how do you get here? So there's lots of ways you could do this. If you're at the University of Wisconsin, which I'm assuming the majority of people who are watching this video, you go to the library system. It's helpful to be logged in ahead of time. I believe when I get here, I will be logged in. When you first go to the library webpage, the main library webpage, library.wisc.edu, if you go down to databases, you'll notice this thing that says top 10 databases. If I click on that, Web of Science is down at the bottom. Web of Sciences is good because it really does cut across all different disciplines, including the sciences, including engineering, including agriculture, biology, and there's also other areas as well. So really kind of regardless of the classes you're in, you might find Web of Science to be important or useful to you. If I click on Web of Science, again, if I am not logged into my University of Wisconsin account, it will prompt me to do so. This is what I'm going to come up with. And if you're having difficulties with that, make sure if you're working from home and you're not able to get logged in, try using a VPN account. Web of Science is pretty clean. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. I talked about the importance of using operators. Oops, let me go back to that for a second. Well, no, let me show this. If I want to learn more about basic searches, about different types of operators, different ways to look at the data, there's all kinds of information available if I click on search tips, which is what I just did. Some other things that I want you to look at, I'm not going to go into huge amounts of detail, but I can, first of all, I can choose the databases that I'm going to look at for the sake of this class. Since we cut across many of the different sciences, including engineering, but also biology and food and agriculture, I usually use the all databases option. The databases are really based on which databases your particular library subscribes to. So here at the University of Wisconsin, it's a large number of those, and I just want to expand my search as big as possible. The other thing that you're probably going to want to do is you're going to want to change the time span. Now, I'm not going to do it here. It's really simple to do. I can go and I can set a custom time range. If I don't, you see that this will look at all data and all information going all the way back to 1864, which I believe would have been during the time of the Civil War. So you're typically going to want to limit your searches in an engineering design class to, typically 10 years. You might want to go back further. You may be looking at a problem that they tried to solve back in the 1930s or the 1940s, and you may want to look at some of that really old literature, but typically we're going to be looking at things that are within the last decade or even more close in time to that. The other thing that I'll just note for you is that you can search by topic, by title, by author, etc. And this is where I wanted to go earlier, where if I'm searching by topic, you can use the star. That's like a wildcard indicator. So like in this example, oil spill, star or asterisk, that would include oil spillage, oil spills. So sometimes that using that wildcard operator can be really important to expand your search. And again, if you want to learn more about using some of those other logic-based operators, that will help you to narrow your focus and narrow your scope. I'm not going to go into it in all the detail, but you can watch additional videos on these. If you're in the University of Wisconsin system, oftentimes then you'll be able to look at other articles that cite the article that you have located. Again, that's a great way of tracking the path forward rather than backward. And you can also look at other kinds of related articles, other things that that particular author that you have located has published. And it's just a really great way of being really, really precise and really consistent and consistent and strategic with your searching. Another reminder, please, 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 because you will need this, keep track of your searches. Keep track of the keywords that you're using or your particular search strategies, the words and the phrasing that you're using, and also the databases that you're searching, because you're going to want to be careful not to have to go back and recreate those steps or retrace your steps. That's just silly. It takes a lot of extra time. It takes a lot of effort. And by just spending a few minutes either writing things down in a traditional notebook or in your electronic design notebook, you can go back and retrace those steps very effectively and very efficiently. Let me know if you have any questions about this. I look forward again to seeing your reports, and hopefully you make good use of tools like the Web of Science and some of those other databases that are available through the University of Wisconsin.